this has been a key focus of your trips to Australia. I mean, you've been here so much in the past few years, and just this week, of course, you met with the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, and key politicians as well. Why have you dedicated your time to Australia like this?
Well, I think Australia deserves it. I mean, look, I'm being serious. My Prime Minister, very, very early on in his tenure, I'm talking 2014, actually one of the first conversations I had with him when he became Prime Minister, he actually asked me saying, explain to me why our relationship with Australia is still at this level. Why hasn't it grown more? Because we have no problems. We have so much going for us. Why haven't we made that effort? And he answered the question himself by making that effort. So, for 20-something years, we didn't have leadership level visits. Yes, occasionally ministers went up and down, but there was no drive in the relationship. But you see from 2014, it's changed. And that year we had 2 visits. Tony Abbott went to India and Prime Minister Modi came to Australia. I think after that, every Prime Minister of Australia has been to India.
Yeah. And there have been a few in those years?
Yes, a few, yes, indeed. When I felt this is such a, under-realized, undervalued relationship that if you commit time and effort to it, it will surely reward you. And that's really what we have seen in this last decade. And I'd be fair, I'd also say my Australian counterparts have also had a similar approach. So whether it's the current foreign minister or the previous one, or some of the other ministers, the Deputy Prime Minister, Defence Minister Richard Marles, Penny, as I said, or Prime Minister Albanese himself, every one of them has put in the effort on their side. Their predecessors did it. And if we have reached where we have reached today, it's 10 years of hard work. But that 10 years of hard work should tell us that so much more is possible.
Your Prime Minister Modi, he's one of the few, arguably, incredibly strong world leaders at this point in time. Would you agree with that? He stands out among the pack.
Well, I may not be entirely objective.
I want to ask you about the Middle East, because we've covered Russia and Ukraine, and the Middle East obviously is another key point of war and conflict at the moment. Would India be supporting if the United States was to once again try and have Israel and Saudi Arabia do a normalisation deal as they were close to achieving prior to October 7? Is that relationship something that India would support as a pathway to peace?
The Middle East, we call it West Asia, it matters hugely to us. It matters to us because we have about 9 million Indians who live there. It's the source of a very large proportion of our energy. Some of our top 20 trade partners, I'd say probably about 1/3 of them would be in that region. It sits astride our key connectivity corridors. So by every logic, it's hugely important for us. So we're obviously very concerned at what's been happening there. Our effort has been to, in the short term, contain the conflict, mitigate it, cool it down to the extent possible. Right now, a lot of that is is what's happening between Israel and Iran, where we have also tried to help in some ways. So we talk to both sides, and anything thereafter which happens, or which is required, we try to do. In terms of the somewhat longer term issues, I mean, you spoke about the normalization of Israel's relationship with, I mean, you mentioned Saudi Arabia, but there could be others as well. I want to say that we were one of the countries very strongly supportive of the Abraham Accords. So you can see, what our thinking is. We also are very much a part, in fact, one of the drivers of this interesting connectivity initiative called IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, which has currently kind of not moved because of the conflict which is underway, but which we know will surely unfold. So there's a lot. I mean, the stakes are big, the challenges are big, but I think our thinking is, look, do what you can to stabilize it short term, to address some of the sharp edges, to encourage countries to forge relationships, then to get them to move beyond that to actually work together. So that would be broadly our approach.
Given India supported the Abraham Accords, similar deals with other Arab nations, surely that is the best pathway to peace in the region, isn't it?
I think there are many aspects to it, but overall, yes, I mean, in a sense, the more understandings there are, the more there is an acceptance of each other.
Yeah.
Because unless you begin somewhere, we are actually looking at a vision of countries working together. The starting point of countries working together is some willingness to accept realities and to start dealing with each other. So it's not easy, but it's important, and certainly our interests are very much working with everybody, including the United States, in ensuring that the countries in the Middle East are all able to deal with each other and work with each other.
Can the world afford to continue to sit back and watch as nuclear abilities are developed by Tehran?
We have a view on nuclear non-proliferation. As you know, again, I spoke earlier about laws and norms and rules. If countries join regimes, sign treaties, the international order requires that they keep their word.
And if they don't?
Then the international order obviously, they sort of reacts to it. So for us, we are very clear. We think that nuclear non-proliferation is destabilizing. We believe that countries which signed the NPT must abide by their commitments. It's a clear-cut proposition for us.
And if they don't, would India support Israel or the United States targeting the nuclear sites militarily?
No. I think you are painting. I mean, I understand.
I think that is a realistic possibility,
where you're coming from, but it's not a discussion. Certainly, look, we don't. We again, I put it to you. The purpose of our diplomacy is actually to do diplomacy, not to see recourse to force as a natural or early or a preferred option. I think at the end of the day, this is not a homily I'm giving you. I'm giving you good common sense. A lot of problems in the world are resolved by countries and people sitting down. The moment you go down the path of force and violence, it's so much easier started than ended.
That's easy when it's a like-minded nation, but if you're dealing with a dictator or an evil regime like Iran, makes it very difficult.
You have your point of view, I hear you. I have my point of view, and you heard me.
I would ask you about cricket, but I'm not a cricket expert over here.
It's obviously a sport which most Indians are deeply devoted to. So I assure you it's going to be a very interesting cricketing season.
I'm sure it will be indeed. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for your
Great
time.
pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.